Hey guys, today's April the 25th, Tuesday of 2023, and I want to do a quick update on the US dollar. I'm going to skip my US pre-market. You guys pretty much know what's going on in regards to nat gas and all that. Statistically, this is a down day, so keep an eye on that. If you're thinking about going long, just be cautious. All right, so let's go into the dollar. I'm using data from all the way from 2000, actually, so it's 23 years of data, and I wanted to show you the weekly chart. And there's one important cycle here, which is 181. We hit a peak here, we hit a low here, we hit a peak here, and we kind of pull back, put a low here. So this cycle is, it's not that bad. We put a low here, go up. Here we hit a peak, it was kind of here, pulled back a little bit. So now this cycle is showing a trough around July of 2023. Now this cycle, this is a dominant cycle over here. I think it's 82. So this cycle is down to June the 30th around there, but then this is this cycle going up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a nice little pop and somewhere maybe around May 30th. Then it pushes back down, and these both cycles are in sync lined here, and then maybe a possible rally to the upside. So that's what the weeklies are saying. Let's look at the daily and see what we got there. Okay, so this is the daily chart, and there's two actually here. I'm going to show two because I don't know, you could go either way, whichever the cycle is going to, I guess dominate the price action. But this one is the 187. This cycle is actually up all the way to somewhere around, June the 3rd, somewhere around there. And then this cycle goes back down on the daily. So this cycle has been up, hit a low somewhere around February the 8th, very close to this swing low here. And price action went up and came down while this cycle peaks somewhere around June 3rd. It is in sync with this, actually it's the same thing, same cycle. Then the next cycle I wanted to show you is the 296. This one is the same thing. This cycle is up, but this one peaked somewhere around August 12, 13, around there. So two cycles that I'm watching to see which one is going to play out if the dollar goes up. There's one that peaks in June, and the other one peaks somewhere around August. Okay, so this is the seasonality percent of month in which US dollar closed higher than it opened from 2019 to 2023. I'm using a 5-year. You can see that May is pretty weak. June, July is kind of flat. August is a little stronger. September is the strongest. So keep that in mind. It's a 5-year. But, we just kind of build up our thesis and kind of seeing where it could possibly be the swing low. We can see that May, it looks pretty weak. Now we go into 10 years. You can see that April, where this is the month we're in, is very weak. May gets a nice pop. June, July, kind of, flat, a little to the weaker side. Then August and September, remains actually the strongest right here. Let's go to 15 years on average and see where we get there. You can see that I got one more tick here. There we go. April, see, April still remains actually one of the weakest compared to December. You can see that May, you get a nice little pop above the 50%, so it's a little stronger. Then June, July, weak. August, strong. September, strong. Then November. And then we go to 20 years, you can see that April. So the theme I'm seeing here, except for the 5-year, is that April is normally the weakest. Then it gets a nice pop into May. June, July is kind of flat. And it's a battle between September and November for possible swing highs. Okay, this is another seasonality chart I like to use. And you can see this is the price action of the dollar. Got a nice little pop here into March. We're into April going down. Let's pop in the 5-year and see what we get there. You can see that there's a dip here, which kind of lined up April the 12th. And then from here, the 5-year goes all the way, and then it trends all the way to like May the 11th. Then it kind of goes sideways to down. We do 10-year average. You can see that there is a low. It kind of goes sideways, and there's a low somewhere around April the 27th. And then this one starts rallying up, and it kind of hits a peak around May 25th. We had the 15 year. You can see that we make a low somewhere around the 28th. And then seasonality wise, it kind of rallies and I guess, maybe a double top here. And then May 25th, it kind of starts dwindling lower. So you can see that it's going on course here. So if it's going to push a little lower, keep looking, for around April, pretty much the last week of April. And see if between the 10 and the 15 year, we could get a nice little bounce, even the first week of May, and get this maybe rally. So you got to watch out if you're in the metals. So it's going to bring pressure to you guys and whatever it's inverse to the dollar. Okay, so this is my Elliott wave chart that I use. As you can see that we are in a wave 5 and we broke the mobile bands, which is somewhere around 103. So it's very weak in regards to the monthly. When we go into the weekly, you can see that we hit a wave 5 on September the 28th. And we have a 1, 2, and this looks like this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on the weekly, we're expecting, if the count is right, and it's going to play out, a wave 4 into 103, all the way to 105, and then finish a wave 5. Some of the cycles, on the weekly are down into June, so that could probably play out. Makes sense looking at the seasonality and all the other stuff I've been showing you. So a wave 4, so it's going to be, pretty much a dead cat bounce. It's going to bring some, pressure to the gold metals, but look for these targets, possible targets, projections of a wave 4. But so far, this is a wave 3. If we go into a daily, you can see that this is our wave 5, September 28th. Yep. And then you have a, let's go to here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. And, I know Elliott wave is subjective and all that. You put a bunch of Elliott wave guys together and all the counts are different. But, I find there's like something to it. I just try to keep it simple. And at the same token, I'm back testing all these theories and all these techniques, with Gann stuff and just kind of see what works. And I find that there's some value in the Elliott wave. You just kind of have to make, clusters and get everything to kind of like make sense of it all, like the big picture. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So we got a wave 5 right here on April the 14th. So let's see if we start, if it's going to be a failed new low towards the end of the month and we get a nice little bounce, then that'd be nice, because then it could rally into May. But if not, I have a target of 98 somewhere around here. There's a target of, if this is not the wave 5, if this is the final wave 5 here, there's a 97.72. But if this is the wave 5, and I'm thinking maybe it'd probably be down here, capitulation or something, and then pop into May, and then maybe do something into June and July, since we know that's kind of weak. But that's what the charts are saying in regards to the Elliott wave count. So we'll keep monitoring that, but you can see that it's kind of, this is the 24th, so I don't have data for the 25th. So let's see how this is going to play out in regards to the Elliott wave count. Okay, so this is the my mind map for the US dollar. As you can see, I have some data here, the high sentiment. I got some numbers here. And the trend on the commitments of trader report is sideways. I need to add some, numbers in regards to the large speculators and commercial. Here's some of the dates I have here. I haven't even updated this yet in a while. I have a family and a life, and it's just busy. So I try to do it when I can. But I did update the cycles. So I have the weekly cycle hitting a trough around June the 29th of 2023. The daily cycles, there's 2. So keep an eye. And this is going to shift. Some guys are like, hey, why is this date moving? Well, because, they shift. They're dynamic cycles. They're not static cycles where, when you take a high to a high, that's never going to shift into the future. But these are dynamic because these are, analyzing all these other things. So just keep that in mind that you're going to see this shift. But, once, it locks in, then it locks in, and then it's going to look for the future, dates, going down. So keep an eye on June 3rd as of now, August 13th for the daily. The weekly, this is our Elliott wave. You can see that we are currently working on a wave 4. So I'm looking for a pops, somewhere soon, maybe at the end of this month or maybe in the beginning of May. And the daily chart, we, as of right now on April 14th, we are in a wave 5. So let's see how that plays out. I need to fix it. That's probably in April 13 there. So that's for the mind map on the US dollar. This is the last chart I have right here. As you can see, this is where the dollar's at. You see there's some good support right here, 102. We're kind of 101.56. MACD is negative. Market sentiment on the monthly is kind of flat. And you're chopping around the 20. There's also the 50 around 98, which is a very possible target. I've been saying 98 is the number I'm eyeing. 99, 98. And, you know, there's some strong support down here, but we'll take it, you know, step at a time. On the weekly, we broke the cloud. The new regression channels are pointing lower. This is a value area low right here of around 101.24. It looks like the MACD wants to go positive. It hasn't gone yet, but it wants to go. You can see the Hikidashis are negative. Mobile bands broke below it. So that's 102.03. And on the daily, you can see that we broke the cloud. Linear regression is still pointing down. And we're just kind of chopping around. And you can see the MACD, a lot of back and forth. So there's a lot of chop here, you know, undecided. Let's go straight to market profile. You can see that there's a value area low here of, what is that? Actually, value area high of 101.74. On the monthly, there's one at 101.65, value area high. And also value area low on the daily. And that's where we're trying to find value on that value area low, 101.32. And lastly, let's look at our levels. This is the midpoint chart. You can see that on the yearly, we weak because we're below 104. There's nothing down there, is there? Actually, there's the 94.62. We look at the monthly. We hit support right here at that 100. You see that pivot there? Let's say hypothetically we crash even lower or push lower on the monthly. You got 99 as support. And in regards to the weekly, we need to regain 101.88. And then obviously there's going to be that 102.23 all the way to the 102.58. But things are kind of narrowing in. Look at that. And on the daily chart, this is resistance right now, the previous 50, which is 101.62. You could get above that. Then you got 101, 101.90, 101.02, and then 102.20. But if it's going to push lower, there's going to be support at the 101.32, 101.18, and 101.03. What's my best guess? Maybe sideways to lower, maybe. Maybe test this low. And maybe towards like, you know, maybe this week things will start, you know, cooking and something happens where the dollar could possibly start, you know, trending higher into May. And then maybe turn around into June and July. And maybe do a final bottom, sync up with the weekly cycle, and then see what happens there. That's my thoughts. That's my analysis. I'll look into it more. I'm just very limited on time, so I'm kind of rushing things. I might, you know, do another video in the future where it's more, you know, more time, but it's just so much stuff to do and so little time. So hopefully you enjoy this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on the US dollar.